Jordan Peterson talking Elon Musk. Don't mind if I do.
First and foremost, the world's premier engineer and inventor is a man clearly and demonstrably capable of doing 6 impossible things at the same time. This speaks primarily of his intelligence. Musk is exceptionally 1 in a billion high in general cognitive ability and openness, a true genius, albeit in the technical manner. That is an observation, not a criticism. With regard to personality, he's not particularly extroverted, tilting, I would say, in the opposite direction, although not exceptionally so. He is moderate in neuroticism, carrying a fair burden of depression-like pain with him, not least because of a truly rough childhood, which he alludes to but does not make a show of. There is some withdrawal there, run roughshod over by his brilliance and openness, and also some volatility, evidenced in his behavior on X online, somewhat reminiscent of Trump himself. Musk is also a worker and manager, hard and dedicated, far beyond the norm. So exceptionally high in conscientiousness and agreeable enough, particularly on the compassionate side, to be very pro-human. He is, however, no pushover, is not particularly polite, and can and does make the difficult judgments of discrimination that allow him to continually operate and maintain multiple, extremely large, demanding, stunningly diverse, and truly cutting-edge enterprises. His staggering intelligence and business acumen means that he brings something near miraculous to the Trump X-Men team. I would vote for Trump as president if I could vote, and I can't because I'm Canadian, and forgive me for that. Just because Musk has agreed to play a role in any new administration that Trump might bring about. He has even wittily proposed to head up a new Department of Governmental Efficiency, a phrase whose initials, DOGE, indicate the willingness in an inside joke manner to do only good every day, as well as signifying a bemused but knowing dog whose image has become a widespread meme. It has been my diligent and hopeful observation that Musk is a good man, or at least a terrible, complicated man, trying very hard to be good, which is all we could truly hope if we were the least bit realistic about human nature and our own prospects. Could Musk do to the American deep state what he did for Twitter? Could he prune and cut so the Republic could revitalize? Stranger things have happened in the course of human history. Javier Milei is trying something similarly demanding in Argentina, and the US of A has a remarkable capacity to reinvent itself. Someone like Musk playing a key role in the governance of the greatest show on earth is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. That's an adventure by anyone's standards. I have met with the next member.
I couldn't bring myself to interrupt that incredibly accurate assessment of both Elon Musk, his personality traits, his unique abilities, and the summation of what Musk would bring to a Trump administration. Jordan Peterson making a very interesting point. Musk's involvement alone would be reason enough for him to vote for Trump. And by the way, it wasn't hyperbole, and I understand where he's coming from. We're on the same page there. Just imagine Musk, who, as Jordan points out, has done multiple impossible things simultaneously across multiple industries, bringing that talent and ability to cleaning house and getting the most out of the US government. I suspect there's a very small percentage of voters out there who think like Peterson. Well, if Musk's going to get involved, given what he's done, the impossible with SpaceX, with Tesla, blah, 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 he's also flagged the ability to potentially remove about $2 trillion of waste. That alone will be reason enough for some folks to vote for Trump. And while we're on the subject of Musk's incredible capacity for doing multiple impossible things in world record time across numerous industries, and just basically embarrassing everyone else trying to get stuff done on Earth, Mark Andreessen, as in this guy, best known at least among older internet users as co-author of Mosaic, which became the first widely used internet browser with a graphical interface. For those of you who've been online since before then, the old bulletin board services days, you understand the breakthrough this was for enabling mass adoption of the internet. A true OG. More recently, others will know Mark as the co-founder of a venture capital firm, making a lot of investments in technology. The guy's net worth, well in excess of $1 billion. a great understanding of software and technology. Let's see what he has to say about Elon Musk. I'll try not to interrupt too much.
What is it that Elon does, either in worldview or action, that makes him so effective?
Yeah, this is, in my mind, this is the single biggest question. I'm really glad you asked it, because it's the single biggest question in the world right now. Like, or it's the single biggest question in my world, right? Which is like, okay, how is it that he does what he does? And I would say, like, I don't, there are people who have worked with him for a lot longer who probably understand this better, but I've had, an up close kind of look at it for the last several years now, and have come to really, I think, really respect it, and I think understand at least parts of it. Look, it's a lot of it. There was that famous text exchange, and actually he's a friend of mine, a wonderful guy, Parag, who was running Twitter at the time when Elon first kind of tangled with it. Parag's a wonderful guy, and he had literally just become CEO like a month earlier or something, and so he was just putting his plans in place when kind of everything, the hurricane hit. But there was an exchange where Parag is talking about whatever, and it's the famous text exchange where Elon's like, "All right, fuck it, I'm not having this conversation anymore," and then he said, "What have you gotten done this week?" Right. And what I realized when I read that was like that is the Elon method. Like the Elon method boiled all the way down is, what have you gotten done this week? Right. And that's very important, because at anybody who has ever been at a large company trying to do anything big, the big things happen over the course of years, decades, years, months. Things don't happen in weeks. Like,
I'm glad to hear Mark reference that hilarious exchange which came out during discovery from court documents and lawsuits around the Twitter acquisition. One of the most brutally hilarious things I've ever seen from Musk. Here's the exchange in full. This after Musk had begun purchasing a stake in X, previously Twitter, with the goal of having an impact and shifting the company in the right direction. Keep in mind, by the way, this is the same company that literally banned the sharing of a legitimate story regarding a laptop and the big guy just prior to the last presidential election, engaging in brazen election interference, suppressing US and global citizens at the behest of the US government, pharmaceutical companies, and a whole bunch of other insane shit. Musk saw this as an issue, was trying to fix what was going on at Twitter by buying a stake. Here's what happened. Musk had tweeted, "Is Twitter dying?" with a question mark. So Parag writes this: "You are free to tweet, 'Is Twitter dying?' or anything else about Twitter. But it's my responsibility to tell you that it's not helping me make Twitter better in the current context. Next time we speak, I'd like to provide you perspective on the level of internal distraction right now and how it is hurting our ability to do work." I mean, wow. What a weak, pathetic, soft, unproductive, embarrassing insight into the mindset of the UFWs that previously worked at Twitter. Parag's having a cry here because people internally are distracted because Elon is asking questions out loud. And, oh, fuck, get your work done or fuck off. It's incredible. It's just, don't get me started. I hope the Ask Me Anything will help people get to know you, to understand why you believe in Twitter, and to trust you. And I'd like the company to get to a place where we are more resilient and don't get distracted. But we aren't there right now. I mean, fucking hell, how weak and pathetic were the people previously working at Twitter? And I mean it. Most of these fucks probably asked for a free week off of paid vacation just so they could go cry in a corner and meditate because Elon asked a question about, is Twitter dying? Jesus Christ. Musk responds, "What did you get done this week? I'm not joining the board. This is a waste of time. We'll make offer to take Twitter private." And we know how that worked out. Now, as Mark points out, right, Parag, nice guy, whatever. Keywords there, nice guy. But Parag here, too polite, too concerned about the feelings of his slightly distracted employees. Zero shit getting done. Beautiful exchange here. It just shows the mindset. Elon Musk straight to the fucking point too. Results matter. And anyone who's been paying close attention since Musk acquired Twitter and has transformed it into X will have noticed almost immediately innumerable changes, massive improvements to the X platform, the services, features, functionality, like everything. It's just absolutely outrageous rate of improvement versus under the previous ownership where literally nothing changed. I also do want to add that the user growth and engagement on the platform has rocketed up enormously since Musk took over, despite the fact that he shit-canned about 80% of the deadweight at the company. Think about this. With 1/5 the headcount, the site's seeing staggering growth, a tsunami of new features. I mean, like, hello, we've got Grok, the chatbot, a million other things as well. Video content's getting a lot better. So with a fraction of the headcount, the rate of innovation, improvement, the product's got so much better, and the actual product, the website itself is growing massively. So to Mark's point, Musk's whole philosophy being boiled down to what did you get done this week? He was saying that in big companies, typically things take years. He's right. Look at what SpaceX has done relative to, say, Lockheed Martin, Boeing, NASA. Pick your company doing aerospace. SpaceX embarrassing the whole industry, with a fraction of the headcount, a fraction of the budget, in a fraction of the time. Tesla, disrupting the entire automotive industry. The only company on earth right now, maybe one or two exceptions in China, making money selling electric vehicles. They literally have the world's best selling vehicle. And then you have companies like VW, a gigantic ship, a Titanic, trying to turn around, headed for an iceberg, taking them years to get what Tesla's probably getting done in a matter of weeks. Imagine being a company trying to compete in any industry, which Musk also has a company. We heard about a world record for bringing on a supercluster for AI training at XAI. But in completely unrelated matters, I did just want to remind everybody that definitely all the companies that the expert analysts are saying are way ahead of Tesla when it comes to autonomy are definitely ahead of Tesla.
Right. And what I realized when I read that was like that is the Elon method. Like the Elon method boiled all the way down is what have you gotten done this week? Right. And that's very important because at anybody who has ever been at a large company trying to do anything big, the big things happen over the course of years, decades, years, months. Things don't happen in weeks. Like, companies have like 5-year plans, right? They have like, cars take like 7 years to design, right? Like rockets take like a decade. Fighter jets take like 25 years. Big software systems take 5-10 years. Any large scale effort anywhere in the economy, we've just all gotten used to this idea that things just take years and years and years. And then you've got like processes and procedures and plans and this, documentation and, rules and structure and strategies and like frameworks and PowerPoint presentations coming out of your ears. Amazon's big breakthrough was to go from having PowerPoint presentations to having like 15-page written documents that everybody reads at the start of a meeting, which actually is an improvement off of a PowerPoint presentation. But there was that. Elon's like, no, I'm not doing any of that. Like, I'm not doing any of that. We're not doing any of that. Basically, we're going to like staff these companies almost entirely with engineers. I myself, Elon, am an engineer. I am going to understand every aspect of every technical system that we're working on. I am going to be able to be in all the meetings on everything from rocket design to database design at Twitter and everything else. I'm going to only talk to the engineers if I can, possibly avoid it. I'm never going to talk to anybody who's not an engineer. I'm going to talk to the person who's directly relevant to the project. I'm not going through layers. I'm going all the way down to the company to just talk to the person who's in charge of this thing. And then basically what he does is he goes to each of his companies each week. He identifies whatever is the bottleneck at that company this week, and then he works with the engineers and he fixes it that week. so what happens is his companies move so much faster than everybody else's. Like it's just like it's like tortoise and rabbit. Like they just move so much faster. They're so much leaner. They don't have all these layers. They don't have all these like systems and controls and processes and all this stuff. But what they have is like many of the best engineers in the world who just absolutely love working with a CEO who understands the substance of what the product is, and then is willing to actually work with them hands on. I mean, I've been in meetings with him at X where he's in there with 24-year-old engineers, and they'll just walk through fire for him. Right, because he's like their idol, and he's able to have a pure conversation with them, and he cares about the work that they're doing. And if they succeed at it, he is going to love them for it. And if they fail at it, he's going to be very disappointed in them. And it's just a completely different relationship than the CEO of one of these big tech companies has. It's just completely different. He does a. I went to see him one night when he took over X, and I was sitting in the conference room. So it's like 10 o'clock. It's a classic illustration. So it's 10 o'clock at night. And he's like, yeah, meet me at Twitter at 10 o'clock at night. I'm like, fine. So I drive up and I go in and I go to the conference room, and it's Elon on his iPhone doing email, and there's a dog on the floor, and I'm like, oh, and it's in retrospect, I was just like, oh, is that your dog? And he looks at me completely deadpan. He's like, I've never seen that dog before in my life. I'm like, what is it? Just like the company dog? He bursts out laughing because, of course, it's his dog. And then he's like, all right, I want to talk, but he's like, I need 15 minutes, and he's like, by the way, you can sit and hang out if you want. I just have to take a call. And he gets on Zoom, and he's on Zoom with rocket engineers for the Falcon rocket, the next generation rocket in Texas. And it's 12 o'clock their time, midnight their time. And it's just him on his iPhone on a Zoom call, designing the next rocket. Which is like probably the rocket that we just saw work, right? And he's like fully conversant completely conversant in that. And he and the engineers fix whatever the problem is that week with the rocket. And he's like, all right, now we're going to go fix the database, here at Twitter. And so it's just like rinse and repeat, do that every single week. I once offered him a place where I thought he might want to take, I was like, I know you're under a lot of pressure. You go to this place for a week if you want. Cause he famously doesn't own any houses. He sold all his houses. He doesn't own any houses. So he stays at friends' houses. So I was like, you can go use my house for a week. And if you need a vacation, you go use my house for a week. I got back 5 minutes later, one line, I don't take vacations. It's like I'm gonna frame and bronze that email, right? And so this is what he does, and he just does this at like an incredible high rate of speed. He doesn't tolerate anything that stands in the way of it. This, by the way, this is the same thing that drives everybody crazy, right? And so this was the whole thing on the, this is his whole thing. He's in this, big fight with regulators on like Starship launches, which is like, a normal rocket company would take whatever, a decade or 20 years to design a new rocket. He's going to put out the prototype as fast as he can. He's going to launch it and see what happens. It's going to explode in midair. There's my 9-year-old and I love watching the SpaceX rocket explosion compilation videos on YouTube. They're hysterical because they just show these larger and larger and larger rockets launching and exploding in midair. Oof. And his competitors, all the way SpaceX was on its way up, his competitors were like, he's crazy. He can't make rockets work. See, they're all exploding. And what he was doing was he was iterating on the rocket design so much faster than they were. And so he would run through 5 rocket generations, of which 4 would fail, but he would learn so much that the 5th one would work. And he would go through the 5 generations faster than his rocket competitors could do 1 generation. And he's just like, fuck it, I don't care. Like, of course, some rockets are going to explode. Nobody's going to get hurt. It's totally fine. But a big company can't tolerate that because it's like headline news and everybody's going to get mad. Yeah. And so anyway, it's just like this completely, it's a base level reality. He calls it first principles. You get straight to base level reality. You get straight to substance. You spend no time on anything other than substance. And so anyway, like if you like me, if you're an engineer and you kind of see this, I'm an engineer by training. And so if you kind of see this, you're like, oh my God, this is like obviously the way that everything should be run. But if you see it from the outside, it just looks so wild compared to all of these other large systems and rules that we've all gotten used to. And therein lies the conflict.
Brilliantly said by Mark. Bringing this back to Musk's potential role in a Trump administration, a lot of people saying he's not going to be able to make much progress. The government's big and slow. Mate, you'll be surprised. And Mark touched on something quite important there. He, an engineer with an engineer's mindset, engineer training, sees what Musk's doing and like, well, of course everyone should be doing it this way. But he points out accurately that people on the outside who also, I'm just going to say it, don't have the cognitive faculties to imagine what it would be like on the inside to actually see it from an engineer's point of view. Just scream through their megaphone, hey Elon, you're doing it wrong. Hey Elon, you don't understand. Hey Elon, that's not the right way to do things. Hey Elon, Tesla should advertise. Hey Elon, you don't understand people. Therefore, the Twitter acquisition is going to fail because it's a social media company and you just understand rockets. Oh wait, hang on. Hey Elon, your approach to autonomy is wrong. You need LiDAR and expensive sensors and pre-mapping and I think you guys get the point. Over and out. Want more content? Early access? Bunch of perks? Click the links in the pinned comment. AG1 is awesome. I've been taking it daily now for more than 3 years. It's a great way to fill in nutritional gaps. It's packed full of vitamins, minerals, and whole food source nutrients. Plus, has prebiotics, probiotics, and adaptogens to improve gut health, regularity, and help your body handle stress. I'm always looking for an edge to help me feel and perform my best, which is why I haven't missed a day of AG1 for more than 3 years. Just try it and see how you feel. Click the link in the pinned comment or head to drinkag1.com/SMR and get yourself a free 1-year supply of vitamin D3 plus K2 and 5 travel packs. This is what viewers of the channel had to say after trying AG1. I feel like I have a lot more energy since I started on AG1. Just got my AG1 in the mail. Legit feeling the effects after day 3. 3 months ago, I started AG1 and have been enjoying the evenness of alertness and energy that lasts the day. I just started the wife on it too. Are you convinced yet? Hey, it's worth trying, right? Click the link in the pinned comment or head to drinkag1.com/SMR or I can keep going. This viewer, after about a month on AG1, definitely a lack of fatigue in the afternoon. Pleasant side effect is that my coffee intake has imploded and is almost down to 0. One more? Yeah, why not? I honestly feel younger and will be continuing to use AG1. This stuff really is crazy good. I didn't think it would be, but this stuff is awesome. It really is what everyone is saying. One more? Don't mind if I do. I've just received my 3rd month supply. I've drank it every day. I have so much energy throughout most of the day. I'm productive, started a new business, started socializing, refurbished a boat. It's no coincidence. Thank you for your persistence, your integrity, and your insights. Now look, these are not my words. These are not my testimonials. This is what you guys and girls are saying. Maybe it's 100% placebo effect. But even if that's the case, I think it's money well spent. Click the link in the pinned comment or head to drinkag1.com/SMR and get yourself a free 1-year supply of vitamin D3 plus K2 and 5 travel packs.